Hey guys, Sean here, and it's been almost 6 years since we built this bookcase for our Blu-rays, and it's been almost 9 years since our first DVD video.
Hey guys, Aaron here. Hey guys, Aaron here.
And Sean.
Hey guys, Sean here, and today I built a bookcase. Hey guys, Sean here. Hey guys, Sean here, and today, exactly 2 years ago. Hey guys, Sean here, and exactly 3 years ago.
Hey guys, Sean here, and today, exactly 4 years ago.
Hey guys, Sean here, and today, exactly 5 years ago, we built this bookcase for our DVDs.
I can't believe it's been that long. So now, let's show you all the Blu-rays and 4Ks and DVDs and VHSs that we got in the last year. So let's get started. Here we have Star Wars: The Complete Saga. This is the 2011 version, and it's basically the last version of Star Wars that was released before Disney ruined it. The Doll and I Don't Want to Be a Man. Hey, you remember when I said this?
But they put the words the Ernest Lubitsch Collection on the cover, and collection literally means more than one of something, so hopefully they'll release more in the future.
Well, they did release more Ernest Lubitsch silent movies in the Ernest Lubitsch Collection, and The Doll, I think, is my favorite Ernest Lubitsch silent movie because it's the funniest. And I Don't Want to Be a Man is pretty good for how short it is. The Expendables, the first one, I mean, I like the second one more, but this one is just a pretty fun turn-your-brain-off action movie, and I will never watch the fourth one. If I Had a Million. This one is an anthology film from 1932 where a dying steel tycoon chooses 8 random strangers and gives them each $1 million, and Ernest Lubitsch directed the segment with Charles Laughton. Mad God. This is like such a visually interesting movie. I mean, the stop motion is just immaculate and like nothing you've ever seen before. And like I've seen it before, but I just haven't opened this because this steelbook is kind of valuable. The Oyster Princess and Meyer from Berlin. This is another Ernest Lubitsch silent movie, and it's pretty good. Past Lives, a pretty good drama that came out this year, and like it was nominated for Best Picture. And this is one of the only 2 movies that came out this year that I have on Blu-ray or 4K. And like I'll get Oppenheimer and Across the Spider-Verse when they're a decent price, and Godzilla -1 when it comes out. Sumeroon. This is another Ernest Lubitsch silent movie starring Pola Negri. And Ernest Lubitsch plays a clown in like ancient Arabia who falls in love with Pola Negri, and yeah, it's not really one of his best, but it's an Ernest Lubitsch movie. And finally, the other Ernest Lubitsch silent movie, The Wildcat. I actually haven't watched this yet. This also has When I Was Dead, which is his earliest movie that still survives. Now let's go on to the 4Ks. I have Universal Classic Monsters, Icons of Horror, with Dracula, Frankenstein, Invisible Man, the Wolfman, The Mummy, The Bride of Frankenstein, Phantom of the Opera, and Creature from the Black Lagoon. Yeah, these are really nice to look at on 4K, and basically these ones plus Son of Frankenstein are like the only really good ones, so I don't know if they're ever gonna make a volume 3. American Graffiti, a really good like coming of age movie in the 1970s, and like it just captures the time period really well with lots of cars and lots of doo-wop music. This is basically the only Lucasfilm property that Disney hasn't ruined yet. They haven't announced a sequel to American Graffiti that takes place in like 2013 and brings back like 80-year-old Harrison Ford and Richard Dreyfuss. If they made that, I would be nostalgic for it if they did it well, but it's Lucasfilm. They obviously wouldn't do it well. Clue, this is such a good movie, and we finally have it on 4K. But here's the funny thing. When we got this for Christmas, we got it from Best Buy, like the very last copy of it in the store, but when we opened it and we looked inside.
You see how it says Clue? What's the kill room?
It was just the completely wrong disc. It was literally sealed in the package from Shout Factory, but it was the wrong disc inside of it. It was another Shout Factory release called The Kill Room. But we eventually got a new one, and we got our money back. Expendables 2, the 4K Steelbook, with one of those slipcovers that Lionsgate likes to do. This is one of our favorite, like, mindless action movies. Hugo on 4K, our first Arrow video collection. The Incredibles and The Incredibles 2. We finally have The Incredibles on 4K with a slipcover. Yeah, because I've been trying to find this for a long time, and I found both of these for about $35 in one lot, so that's nice. It's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. This was a cheap one for Black Friday. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Peanuts, but it looks good on 4K. Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, the other 2023 movie that we own. And here's my conspiracy theory. The Oscars nominating this movie for Best Sound and Best Visual Effects when they didn't nominate any of the others, that's compensation for not creating a Best Stunts category. The Nightmare Before Christmas, another really good looking 4K. I mean, like, the Pirates of the Caribbean one doesn't look good, but this one does. The Night of the Hunter from Kino Lorber. This is a pretty good, like, noir-style, fairy tale-style movie. Pumpkinhead, the 4K Steelbook. Yeah, I watched this for the first time on a 4K disc, and yeah, the atmosphere of this movie is just pure Halloween, and the costume for the Pumpkinhead, it's just like peak Stan Winston. Rebel Without a Cause, I got this for Black Friday, and watching it, I can see why, like, people thought James Dean was, like, hot shit for, like, a year, and then he decided to drive his car into a tree. Snow White and the Seven Dwarves on 4K. This is a really good looking 4K. Anything with, like, 1930s cartoons on 4K is nice to look at. Toy Story, the Disney 100 Steelbook. For some reason, the only Pixar movies that they made at Disney 100 Steelbooks is this and Cars, and, like, because Best Buy is going out of business. No, because Best Buy is getting rid of all their physical movies, this was on sale for $10. And finally, Tropic Thunder. This is such a funny movie. It's like one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. And I also have Tale of Princess Kaguya, the 2022 edition. This is the version that I had before. And finally, X-Files Season 1 on Blu-ray. Yeah, back in like 2015, I got all the X-Files seasons on DVD, and now I want to get them all on Blu-ray if I can find them for a decent price. And here's an update on our criterions. We have Monterey Pop. This is a concert film, kind of like Woodstock, but like 2 years before Woodstock, with like Jimi Hendrix lighting his guitar on fire and then smashing it. Yeah, it's really cool. Night of the Living Dead, our first Criterion 4K. Looks really good. Kagemusha, a Kurosawa movie. Princess Bride on 4K with a nice storybook style case. And finally, Todd Browning's Sideshow Shockers. Yeah, that's right. Freaks is finally on Blu-ray, as well as The Unknown and The Mystic. Lon Chaney as a guy pretending not to have arms and doing everything with his feet. And there were some scenes where you could tell that, like, that the guy that's moving his feet in front of his face is not Lon Chaney, so whoever that was, he must have gone home like, "Hey, husband, what did you do in Hollywood today?" Lon Chaney sat on my lap and I stuck my feet in his face. And here's the small update on the DVDs that we got. Here we have Turner Classic Movies, World War II Battlefront Europe, with Kelly's Heroes, Where Eagles Dare, The Dirty Dozen, and Battlegrounds. War is not really one of my favorite genres, but these are pretty good. Maytime, this is a Jeanette MacDonald and Nelson Eddy movie, and like I've only seen 2 of them, but this one is actually really good. It's pretty underrated. It has like nice emotions and nice drama. And finally, the Myrna Loy and William Powell collection, with Manhattan Melodrama, Evelyn Prentice, Double Wedding, I Love You Again, and Love Crazy. Basically, these 2 made even more movies together than Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. They made these 5 plus 6 Thin Man movies plus The Great Ziegfeld. And here is an update on all of the VHS tapes that I got since last year. Yeah, I've gotten a lot more since last year because like all of them were $1 at Savers or Goodwill, and they're all classic movies. Here's Naughty Marietta, the first of the Jeanette MacDonald and Nelson Eddy movies. And, I mean, just completely by coincidence, I found 7 out of the 8 Jeanette MacDonald and Nelson Eddy movies, like, only from Savers or Goodwill. The only one I don't have is Bittersweet. The Informer, this movie was nominated for Best Picture and won Best Actor. Yeah, Captain Blood, this is basically the, like, inspiration for Pirates of the Caribbean. Born to Dance, this is the only movie where James Stewart has a musical number. Rosemarie, another MacDonald and Eddy movie where they play Mounties. Maytime, I have this on DVD and I've watched it and it's pretty good. 100 Men and a Girl, this is a Deanna Durbin movie, was nominated for Best Picture. The Adventures of Robin Hood, a really good Technicolor movie. Boys Town, this is where Spencer Tracy won an Oscar for the 2nd year in a row. Shall We Dance from Republic Pictures, now I have 3 different versions of Shall We Dance. A Damsel in Distress, yeah, I have to have every Fred Astaire movie on VHS that I find. First Love, another Deanna Durbin movie. This one is basically a Cinderella story. New Moon, Like, I don't know what this is about, but it's Oscar Hammerstein. Okay. Another version of New Moon. I mean, just this aesthetic is really cool. MGM musical VHS tape aesthetic. The Shop Around the Corner. This is one of my favorite movies, so I had to have it. All This in Heaven 2, another Best Picture nominee that I know little about. Sun Valley Serenade. This movie, it's not even available on DVD, but it's also still sealed, still basically pristine, and this is the movie where Chattanooga Choo Choo came from. King's Row, another Best Picture nominee with Ronald Reagan, who's President of the United States in 1985. Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, the actor? I Married an Angel. This is the last of the Jenna MacDonald and Nelson Eddy movies. Orchestra Wives, another brand new sealed movie. This is the one where I Got a Gal in Kalamazoo came from, if you've heard of that song. Once Upon a Honeymoon. This is one of the 2 movies starring Cary Grant and Ginger Rogers from Nostalgia Merchant. Random Harvest, another Best Picture nominee with Greer Garson. The Song of Bernadette. This one was nominated for like 12 Oscars, but it's still sealed brand new. Arsenic and Old Lace Colorized. Yeah, I wish I had an HD version of this. National Velvet, a Technicolor movie with Mickey Rooney and Elizabeth Taylor. Mr. Blandings Builds His Dream House, also from the Nostalgia Merchant. The movie The Zone of Interest is basically like this movie if Mr. Blandings was the head of Auschwitz. Something in the Wind. I know nothing about this movie, but I got it the same day I got the other 2 Deanna Durbin movies. Green Dolphin Street. This one won an Oscar for Best Visual Effects in 1947, probably because there was an earthquake. Westward the Women. I got this because the title is pretty funny and the reviews say it's actually a pretty good Western. Showboat, another MGM musical. The Country Girl, the movie that Grace Kelly stole the Oscar from Judy Garland. Witness for the Prosecution, a pretty good Billy Wilder movie. A 3-pack of Cary Grant movies with Father Goose, Operation Petticoat, and Indiscreet. I've always found Cary Grant's later filmography pretty weird because they always paired him with like women that are like half his age, and with like Leslie Caron and Sophia Loren, who sometimes like they weren't even born yet when he first started acting. The Inn of the Sixth Happiness. This is one of the few movies to be nominated for an Oscar for Best Director and nothing else. How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. This is one of the ones released on the MGM Musicals VHS line, but it was made by United Artists, and as you can see on all the spines, MGM and UA like had a joint venture for releasing VHS tapes. Krakatoa East of Java, like I don't know when I'm ever gonna sit down and watch this. The Oscars Greatest Moments from 1971 to 1991, you know, back when the Oscars actually cared about movies and it's not just Jimmy Kimmel talking about how much the Oscars suck and are too long and how much the movies that they snubbed and the movies they nominated suck. And finally, Ripley's Believe It or Not, Volume 1. This one is actually just a bunch of like shorts that were actually filmed in the 1930s that you see later in the Ripley's Believe It or Not books. And I also got it because it was released by Strain VCI, who made the Thomas VHS tapes.